Well, g'day guys. Well, welcome back to the channel and what is another episode of my Breville radio rebuild, the M96. Now, this one, I've got a few things. To do on this. I've got to clean up all the valve sockets to start with. The band switch, well, it's in a fairly grotty way. We'll give you a closer look at this as we go along. So, yeah, the valve sockets have got to be cleaned up and checked. Of course, the capacitors and some of the wiring. Some of the wiring's not too bad, actually, so some will stay, some will go. The whole that tag ladder assembly will have to just clean it up. Mostly it's underneath, so you sort of really don't see it from in underneath, but I want to make sure all this is nice and clean when it all goes together anyway. So that's the wiring setup itself. You've probably seen the previous videos on this. Pilot light holders, they're not real good. So thinking of, I was watching Manuel on Electronics Old and New, and he gave me the idea of replacing dial lamps with LEDs. I think that might be the go. It's very nice to keep it all original, but yeah, with lamps getting shorter supply and things like this in the future, I think the LEDs would be a better choice. So he's got a very good little board that he's just produced and through PCB way, and I can I'll put a link to his last video in the comments down below, and you can have a look for yourself. So that's Electronics Old and New. So we're going to modify that. This is a 4-pin valve socket, the rectifier socket of the 6X something or other. 6, no, it might be I don't know. No, it's an 80. That's right. It's an 80. So a little bit of a burn mark there. So what we're going to do now, at the start of this video, is pull this apart, work out what's happening. It can be pulled apart, but it's riveted together, and I do have new rivets for these. So you can probably, if I can get the light in the right direction there, you can see where it's burnt, just near my finger there. So we're going to, do that, check what I'm going to do there. The antenna coil, as you saw in the last video, I think, or the one before, I've got the mounts all ready for him, so he can be rewired into this before I lose track of everything. Now, the wiring for him is just sitting here, these fellas here. So I want to put that back in via my pictures, of course, and then I'm doing stage by stage, not pulling everything apart, because we've got pictures and we've got video, but it's pretty full on when you go to rebuild something like this from scratch. What else have we got? The volume control. We need another tone pot. The volume control, I think, is okay. We haven't checked in. So that's it. Now, you just excuse me for a moment. The chassis itself, that's our chassis. As you've seen in the previous video, if you've watched it. If not, flick back and have a look. All nicely painted up and ready. We've got some stickers to put on here. The nameplate, lots to do. Done the transformer and painted him up, so all is good. So we've got to get that lot into here, and get it ready for some talking. I don't know. I hope so. I really hope so. This is a big project. Sorry about my squeaky chair. You'd think I'd have fixed it by now, but there's too many other things on. Okay, let's get into this. Right, so this is what we're up against. A bit of a burn in there. That's obviously our HT. This is our 5-volt filament or 4-volt filament. I don't know whether this is an 80 or not. I've got to drag the manual out. And that will be our B plus out. So of the filament, a directly heated filament. So, okay, we've got to get that little pin in there of that fella and remove him and see what we can do with him. Let's see, can we get this up? Yep. Lifts up okay. Now, the only reason I'm doing this with the 4-pin valve socket is because I don't have one on me, and, well, I suppose I could order one, but I like fixing things. It depends on how bad this is. Because there'll come a day where there won't be any of these. Okay. It's got him up. Pins out. And that fella's from underneath, by the way. Lift him up. And, yeah, in here, bit dirty, but looks okay. And it looks like that is only on top. Underneath doesn't look too bad. So we'll give that a scrape and see how deep it's gone into it. Our pins look rather good, actually. They can all be polished up, of course. I'll be putting some polish into these and cleaning them up and cleaning the whole thing. But yeah, doesn't look too bad. guys, there's been a little bit of confusion with the colours, the wire colours. So what I'm doing, I'm using red for the B plus. I've got 3 different circuits here with 3 different wiring colours. So I'm just the red for the filament here, seeing it's live on the filament. So that's our B plus. So I'm using red for those, and I'm using brown for the HT windings on this side of it. So yeah, that's my colouring. Well, that's how I worked it out anyway. But for the rest of it, I'll be using red for HT and black for your earth and any negative of the, for instance, the pilot light, your dial lamp. And what else have we got? Yellow for the heaters. So I'm using yellow there. So even though this listing is a little bit different, it's yellow, the screen, and so forth. But what I've got with this particular radio is not these colours. Yeah, this is 97, 96 must have done a different arrangement with the colours. I thought it would have been standard, but anyway, we'll work it out as we go along. And as long as I keep a standard, which I normally do with the wiring, we'll be right. Okay, let's get these 2 tacked on here. Okay guys, I've got the antenna coil in, just the leads connected. This one is not connected, that's the aerial wire that goes to the outside of the radio. This one, it's got a crack in here, and I don't have one of these, what are they, P2 or something, sockets. I do have one, but it doesn't actually fit. It's a little bit bigger than this one and doesn't fit in correctly. So this one, super glue down here and clamp him together to try and get rid of that crack there. So this is the next saga. So then clean all the contacts. I'm pretty sure this fellow will be okay. Probably okay even though it's cracked, because it is riveted to the chassis, so it can't move very far. But irrespective, I'll still super glue it, crunch it together. If it looks a bit sus, I'll put a little bit of JB weld on the outside so that will hold it nice and solid. Okay, next job. Well guys, you wouldn't believe it. After a bit of searching around, I have found a new one. And he does fit. Now, pin 1, which is that fella there, for those of you who aren't familiar with these sockets, you've got 4 spaced together and 4 a larger spacing with them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how they're arranged. I've got this fella out as pin 1. Okay, so if you're doing, there's no markings on the new sockets. Don't know where these come from. They are Bakelite. They're not, well, they don't appear to be plastic. I'd say they're Bakelite. Now pin 1 goes at about the 8 o'clock position in the chassis, and it's a very neat fit. He pushes in fairly neatly, and it's got locating lugs at either side. So yeah, those, you can see them there, just the two little lugs there. Unfortunately, none of these holes line up as to where I want to put the socket, of course. So we're going for a mark. I've punched there and over here, put a centre punch in. So we're going to drill them out. I'd like to put some gold rivets in, so we'll see how we go with all that. Okay, we'll do this and come back. And we have our two holes drilled there and there. Slight little bit of paint had to come off with drilling the holes, but yeah, the valve socket fits nicely in there. So yeah, just put a couple of rivets in those. You won't really notice it, and fits in fairly nicely. Okay, so that's problem 165 dealt with. So let's take this fella out and change this one. Change him over, and then onto the other valve bases and clean them up and make sure they're all okay. Then how about we get onto the caps? I'll leave this this area. I'll just bring him over here a bit. Okay, so we'll leave the switch area. I don't quite know how we're going to clean this yet without taking it all apart, but anyway, we'll have a go at it. But meanwhile, we'll change this fella. Now the socket's been changed. We've done our bit here. We've got some new filament wires on him. This is a plate wire, which I'm making as blue. And these wires here, this is the G2 wires to various valves. So they've got voltage on them coming into G2. I'm going to make them white, but I'm not going to change them just at the moment. We've got this socket in. That's the main thing. So now it's flip over, and now it's let's inspect and clean. I don't know whether I should flip it or not. Yes, I will. And clean all the valve sockets, the rest of the valve sockets. So this one certainly looks good now that he's done. But yeah, I'm just noticing an electro there. Don't know whether you can see that. Put the camera near him. He's actually split. So a very strange looking electro. It says it's 8 microfarad. And I'm not sure of the voltage yet. We'll get to him. So yeah, now is arranged somehow like that. Yeah, it's starting to get out of shape. So yeah, it's a little bit more study on where things go rather than yeah, putting it back and everything fits as such. It's starting to get a little bit out of hand, but that's all right. This is all part of doing it. Now these wires here, the black ones, are your filaments for the valves. I will be replacing. Yeah, I'm going to replace pretty well all the wiring. I want this to be, yeah, a nice setup when it's finished. So yeah, I'll be replacing this string along here. As I said, we've done the AK2 valve and also done the rectifier. So okay, let's get onto these, clean them up a bit, both underneath and on top, and we'll clean out the contacts and make sure all these fellas are okay. That one there, what's he? I don't know. He would be the 42, I guess. Looking at the wiring there. The blue would be the plate, red in. So yeah, probably our audio output being the 42. Anyway, we'll get onto these and clean them up, and then start cleaning some of the crud off this. Yeah, a little bit of corrosion in here, and yeah, after that, I'm looking forward to getting rid of these capacitors. They're awful, they're horrible, they're big, they're ugly, and there wouldn't be any of them that are any good, I wouldn't reckon. I would say they would all leak. Okay, let's do these. Right, well, I've got them looking cosmetically beautiful anyway. So, let's clean their teeth. I use these. These are little brushes that you use to floss your teeth with, I guess you could call it. And I use them with isopropyl, a little bit on the tip. And we go in through here and clean our contacts. It seems to work very well. These are a little bit large, small rather. The holes are large. Could do with the next size up, but for the 9-pin sockets, these are great. So yeah, we just clean him up like so. And when I'm finished, give them all a little bit of a squeeze in so they make good contact on the valve pins. That way you don't have any hassles when you start her up. The sockets actually come up quite well. I'm pretty happy with them. Don't think we'll have any problems down the track with these. So if you're looking for something to clean your valve pins out, these little fellas are the go. These are only cheap ones. They're not Colgate or anything. They're just cheapies, but they do the job. Quite a job of this. By the time we do the editing, we'll be nearly up for another part in the series, I think. And we might just put it in our Breville playlist so that you guys can watch it whenever. I will probably have to watch it back to let's see how all this goes together. Get in underneath and just give him a little bit of a squeeze together. It will make the valves a little bit tighter fit, but we know that they'll make good contact. you just gently squeeze them. Don't squeeze them too hard. It's just so they'll grab the pins. So far I've been lucky. There's no wires broken off. Certainly wouldn't get that in today's units you work on. Well, I will call the sockets done. They're nicely cleaned. Pins are cleaned. Well, the sockets. So really, we're probably up to the recapping stage. So we'll just run through it. I will record bits and pieces of it, but I think the next job, just before we lift the caps, will be to get some rubbish off the ladder tag strip along here, clean up a little bit of corrosion there, and do it both sides. There's another little board here, and then we've got to get on to this fella over here, which is our band switch. It's disgusting. So, and of course our volume control is, so there's a few things yet. So I think the next port of call, let's clean the ladder up and see how she looks before we do the caps. A little bit hard after they're done. Righto guys, now for the toothbrush treatment. A little bit of metho and, sorry about the camera there, and just run him along to get the remnants of the 226 off, or WD-40 or whatever your choice is. It's just these boards were very greasy, and that was the only thing that could sort of remove it easily. Now I'm using methylated spirits to just get rid of the rubbish that's on there. And of course, every time I do this, this unit's getting further and further away from the state it was in, or the shape it was in when I pulled it apart. So yeah, anyway, she's basically the same. Righto, well that's looking a lot cleaner along our ladder. There's a little ladder over here, but he's not near us. Oh, he's not real good there. I'll give him a scrub. And then I think we might start changing capacitors. What do you reckon? Okay. Now, seeing I've done this bit, we're going to wrap this video up. It's going to be long enough, and I'm cutting heaps out of it actually, of just me doing stuff. I'm going to wrap it up, and the next one we'll change the caps, and then we'll do clean the trimmers and the band change switch, and possibly even fit in the volume control, check him out, make sure everything works. So that's on the next video. So okay guys, that's it for the Breville for this segment. We'll return very shortly, and with the next part in the series. So I just don't want to make this video 2 hours long. It doesn't need to be. This is a long-term project, and I've got a couple of other things in the wind that I better start on. So just check out the channel for the odd the odd one coming up very shortly. And of course, to do that, please subscribe and hit the bell. That way you'll be notified when the next one comes up. If you like what I do, give us a thumbs up. Okay, guys, I hope to see you on the next video. This is a wrap. So until then, it's bye for now.